more completing the square, and I'm going to focus on when the x squared coefficient is above 1. Okay, let's do basics, complete the square and solve from this one here. It should be one that we did the other day. Pause video, a bit of revision. Okay, so I can only complete the square when there's no x squared coefficient, or at least if it's 1. So in this situation, I'd halve the 10 to make it 5. Then I've got minus of 5 squared, and then plus 10. This 10 is like the second bit here. Okay. Then simplify, so it's going to be minus 25. Minus 25 plus 10 is minus 15. Bring 15 over, square root both sides, and then minus 5. So my two answers are minus 5 plus the square root of 15, and minus 5 minus the square root of 15. And again, substitute into your question. Okay. Now, there's information to go. Another quick one, but I'm not really going to go through it. You can pause it if you want. There you go. Right. Now, this one here. 3x squared plus 2x minus 2. I can't complete the square as it is, because that 3x squared stops me. So I need to do something to get rid of that 3x squared. Now, it depends what the question's asking you. Yeah, if it's asking you to solve, we can just divide it all by 3. Yeah, but sometimes it isn't. Sometimes we complete the square because we get more information out of completing the square. And what it really does, it shows us the minimum point. Okay. Now, if I show you this, yeah, this is from the Desmos. Okay, this is the equation of 3x squared plus 2x minus 2 equals 1. Now, if I divide each term by 3, which will give me x squared plus 2/3 x minus 2/3, okay, I get a slightly different graph. Now, if I put one on top of the other, if you look, the important thing is my solutions are the same. So if I want to solve by completing the square, that's perfectly fine. I'm happy to do that, and I can divide them all by 3. But my minimum points are not the same. And my minimum points are different. So if you're doing this to sketch a graph, or if you're asked a question, find a minimum point, and you're doing it by completing the square, you can't divide by 3. It won't work. So decide what the question is and decide which way is the best way to do it. But anyway, let's talk about this one. 2x squared minus 16x minus 7. Now, there are different ways of doing it, but I'm just going to do it this way. I'm going to factorize 2 out. Okay, so essentially I am dividing each term by 2, but I'm putting in brackets, so I'm keeping the 2 out. Now, obviously, if I expand this, I should get back to the question, which I clearly do. So half of 2x squared is x squared, half of negative 16 is negative 8, half of 7 is 7 halves, and I like to work fractions. And then what I'll do is I'll actually just, in the brackets, I'll just complete the square. So the minus 8, I'd halve it to make it minus 4 squared. Then I have to minus 4 squared. Okay, and this 7 halves I haven't changed, so it just goes there. Okay, 4 squared is 16. Minus 16 minus 7 halves actually make it minus 19.5. And everything else stays the same. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to expand the brackets, yeah, but I'm going to do it, I'm not going to totally do it. So I'm just going to do the 2 times the x minus 4 squared, okay, which is just 2 brackets x minus 4 squared, and the 2 times 19.5, which is minus 39. And then we just solve it. So I'm going to get the 39 over to the other side. And then look at the brackets, try and start off what's furthest away from the x, which is a 2. So I'm going to have to halve it, okay, which is 19.5. Okay, and then I'm going to square root both sides, okay, which gives me plus or minus 19.5, and then plus 4. So my two answers are minus 9 square root of 19.5 plus 4, and plus 9 square root of 19.5 plus 4. Okay. Right. Now this one here, give you a bit of time to try and do it. Okay, so I'd factorise 3 out of each terms. Okay, I'm using square brackets just so we've got the difference between the square brackets and the curved brackets. They don't mean anything else. Okay, and then I complete the square of what's inside the brackets. So I've got half of 2x to make it 1x, minus 1 squared, which is just 1, minus 7 thirds, minus 1 minus 7 thirds is 10 thirds. Okay. Then I expand the brackets to make it 3 brackets x plus 1 squared, minus 10. Then I bring the 10 over to the other side. Okay. And then divide by 3. Okay. And I square root both sides. Okay, and then I minus 1. So my answers are positive square root of 10 thirds minus 1 and negative square root of 10 thirds minus 1. Okay. I'll give you a bit of time to this one here. First of all, factorise 3 out of all of them. Okay, now it's a bit more complicated here because my middle term is 2 thirds. Now half of 2/3 is just still 1/3. So I'm going to have to do x plus 1/3 all of it squared, minus a third squared, and minus 2/3. And the third squared is actually a ninth, because the numerator squared is 1 and the denominator squared is 9. Minus a ninth minus 2/3 is minus 7/3. Okay? Then I expand my brackets, so I've got 3 brackets, x plus third squared, minus 21 ninths. 21 ninths actually turns into 7/3, just something to keep aware of. Bring your 7/3 over, square root both times divided by 3, which makes it a 7/9. Square root both sides. Right? Now you can write this one as plus or minus square root of 7, all of it over 3, but I've just left it as square root of 7/9. Okay, and then you bring your third over, so it's plus or minus the square root of 7/9 minus a third. Okay, good. Here's a lot of questions for you to do, just so you can get some practice. Obviously, you're not expected to do all of them, but do enough for them to stick in your head. Easy, hard. And your answers are here. Very difficult lesson. Watch it a few times if you find it hard.